The trend of 2018 is that features and specifications restricted to premium or flagship smartphones are to make their way to their relatively poor siblings. The year gone by showed us that innovation always rises to the top, and smartphone brands will hopefully continue to innovate and get better with time. And here we list out 9 features that we expect to go mainstream on smartphones in 2018. Welcome back to QatNip, and come on, let's learn together. For the 9th place, we have fast charging support and Type-C port, as we have seen it getting integrated in a lot of smartphones, but it's mostly in devices priced around and above the 20,000 Indian rupees mark, or that is $300 mark. However, users won't stop complaining about battery life being poor and how smartphones take a long time to charge. Quick, fast or dash charging will go mainstream as brands will integrate them in smartphones across the price range. Next, we have the headphone jack that stands tall. In spite of Apple and Google ditching the good old headphone jack from their lineup of smartphones, it is not going to go away anytime soon, with brands like OnePlus, Honor, Motorola, Samsung all sticking to the 3.5mm headphone jack, making the trend of killing the jack not go mainstream. Even though companies have stopped giving a pair of earphones inside, the headphone jack is there to stay, so that you can buy your own favorite pair of headphones and enjoy it any way you like. Next, we have dual cameras everywhere. Remember the time when selfie cameras were in the trend thing? One moment only a few select smartphones had them, and the next they were everywhere. Well, that's what's going to happen with dual cameras these days, both at front and rear. The dual camera setup at the rear already became quite popular in 2017, but front dual cameras weren't really seen on many devices. However, 2018 will see dual cameras to go completely mainstream, and we won't be surprised if they reach the budget smartphone segment or even the lowest end one. Next, we have the fingerprint sensor that gets better and better. With facial recognition going mainstream, it is not as if the fingerprint sensor will be bidding adieu. We do expect it to get better and smarter and be integrated into the glass that we always see. At CES 2018, Vivo has already announced a device with under-the-display fingerprint sensor, and other companies are soon to follow. Samsung's flagship devices from 2018 are also expected to have these new features, although it is quite speculated as the recent S9 did not have one. So we just have to wait and see for what happens. More and more Android devices are expected to roll out fingerprint sensor under the glass in 2018, as Japanese company JDI has already launched their under-display fingerprint sensor for the mainstream. Next, we have facial recognition. It can be termed as the curious case of Apple, as even without laying claims to be the first ever to do so, somehow features go mainstream once they are found on iPhones, as we have completely forgotten that facial recognition existed on Android ever since Android 4.4 KitKat. It happened with fingerprint recognition in 2013 with iPhone 5s, and we can now see it with Face ID on iPhone X. Facial recognition is becoming a common feature in smartphones, although not to the technological level of the iPhone X, but brands like Infinix and Oppo have it in smartphones under the $300 mark, whereas brands like OnePlus are making it one of their key features. Facial recognition will replace fingerprint ID as the new cool thing perhaps, but for us personally, we really think that the fingerprint sensor is way more convenient. Next, we have the Android Oreo to grab a bigger bite. Although it itself is a dessert, it is to take a bite in the smartphone market. A big grouse with Android smartphones is that they hardly come with the latest OS, as it's evident with the minuscule number of smartphones having Android Oreo. Only a handful smartphones come with Android Oreo out of the box. However, we can expect a lot of phones in 2018 to be shipped with Android Oreo, and if it gets better, Project Treble support will make it more easy to roll out updates for a vast majority of devices as Android P and its successor come out rolling in the years later. It is already being made available on many smartphones including Nokia and OnePlus devices. Considering that every year Google unveils their latest Android in the second half, by that time Oreo will be the new nougat, and we won't even know when time passed by. Next, we have the rise of artificial intelligence. With tech giants like Apple, Google and Amazon laying so much emphasis on AI, it's perhaps a matter of time when others integrate it in their devices. Honor leading the pack by launching its latest AI-powered smartphone, the View 10, with a Neural Processing Unit or NPU. Artificial intelligence or AI will be the buzzword for smartphones, and a recent study by Gartner highlighted that by 2022, almost 80% of all devices will have AI capabilities. The number stood at 10% in 2017 and is bound to grow in 2018. For the second place, we have more powerful processors. When Qualcomm in December 2017 announced its flagship Snapdragon 845 processor, it meant that we can expect almost all flagship devices of 2018 to boast the latest processor. But guess what? The Exynos counterpart that features itself in the latest Galaxy S9 is even more powerful than the Snapdragon 845, and Samsung's recent plans to release the Exynos processors to other companies may even bring in more competition and more market share that holds the flagship lineup. What it will also mean is that the earlier generation flagship, the Snapdragon 835, could trickle down to relatively cheaper smartphones. As of now, no smartphone which is priced under $450 features a Snapdragon 835, but with the Snapdragon 845 getting popular, it might soon change. And finally, we have the most common feature that is to be expected in almost all phones of 2018 is the 18:9 aspect ratio. The 16:9 ratio is history now, and the 18:9 is where all the interest lies. We are talking about the aspect ratio which we have seen getting integrated on more and more smartphones. It was LG that introduced the feature first with its LG G6 smartphone, but it has been adopted by almost all around. Brands like Honor, Xiaomi, Vivo, and even Samsung and Apple feature 18:9 aspect ratios in their displays in smartphones priced even under $300 price mark. So that was it for our list, and we hope you liked the video. A million thanks to our dear subscriber family for your continuous love and support, and until next time, stay tuned for more.